Hey folks, Wednesday was the first night of the new 4-chair challenge on season 3 of The X Factor. It's kind of like the Hunger Games of singing competitions, but you know, with all the hype over those 4 turning chairs over at The Voice, the name of this round alone feels like Simon Cowell's way of saying, hey, we got chairs over here too. Poor thing. No, I did enjoy this round more than the fake judges' homes of seasons past, but it was a little bit unnecessarily mean, wasn't it? To giveth and then to taketh away. I didn't mind it so much with the oldsters, but when they start switching out little children, it's probably going to make all the judges look like total schoolyard bullies. Anyway, first up is Kelly Rowland in the over 25's, and the first performance of the night was from 41-year-old Victoria Carriger, or as I like to call her, Octomom 2. The lady with 8 kids, she said that she wants to win because her kids have never seen her pursue something and actually finish it. Well, they've seen her finish being pregnant a whole bunch of times, that's for dang sure. Anyway, this time around, Victoria sang To Make You Feel My Love, and there were parts of it that were pretty good and parts of it that weren't so good, and then she oversang some of it, and then some of it was quite boring, and so it was a little bit all over the place, but I didn't hate it. Not as much as I hated her hair anyway. Oh my god, those awful little pigtails. 8 kids at home, and couldn't one of them tell Mom that her hair looked silly. At first, I thought it was like those gimmicky, handmade feather earrings, you know, the ones that girls like to make and give to all their friends, but nobody ever really wears them. So yeah, I hated the hair, and I thought the singing was just okay. She'd probably make a great wedding singer, but just don't bring the kids with you to the wedding, because it might make the newlyweds think twice about starting a family. Anyway, Demi thought it was great, but that the energy was a little low. Paulina said that the raspy voice is what captivated her since the beginning. And Simon said that he would have sent her packing on that performance, but Kelly gave her a seat anyway, and then of course she took it away later on. Next up was 27-year-old Kristene Mirelle. I think this is the first time we've seen her. I don't remember seeing her audition this season, unless maybe it was nestled in with those wretched auditions from last week when I really wasn't paying attention. Anyway, Kristene sells chips and salsa at a grocery store for a living. Well, there's a job that'll be on the chopping block when the economy goes back in the crapper. What kind of grocery store has a chips and salsa salesperson? Don't they kind of sell themselves? I don't know, I bought some just the other day, and I didn't need anybody to talk me into it. Anywho, Kristene sang Oops, I Did It Again by last season's Budget Sponge, and it was terrible. It was like a girl that can't really sing that well trying to sing a song that's not really a singer's song, if that makes any sense whatsoever. A Britney Spears song is meant to be performed, and so she pretty much oversang a simple song, which might have been okay if she had sounded good, but she really didn't. Demi said that it was very, very pitchy. Paulina felt the same way as Demi. Simon thought that the vocal was bad and the arrangement was confusing, but he would have kept her anyway because he thinks she has potential, whatever that means. And once again, Kelly gave her a seat and then took it away later on. Next up is 37-year-old Jeff Gutt. Did y'all notice the Philip Phillips song playing in the background in Jeff's intro? I was a little bit surprised to hear that on the X Factor, because isn't Simon Cowell pretending that American Idol died when he left it? Anyway, Jeff said that he lost a part of himself when he got the axe last season, but now he's starting to find himself again. I guess that's why he decided to sing Amazing Grace. I once was lost and now I'm found. I didn't like the song choice, but then again, I didn't really expect to, because based on Jeff's track record, we know he's going to pick tired old songs about 90% of the time. I didn't like the singing either. All the growling and shouting is just much too much, and I don't think this song really benefits that much from the screamer treatment, but with Jeff Gutt, I suspect that's what every song is going to end up sounding like, and there's a big segment of the population that is going to love it, including, of course, the judges. Pow Pow was, of course, captivated, as she usually is. Demi thinks he's come so far since last season, and Simon said that it was the best so far, and maybe it was, but that doesn't mean a whole lot when the people before you weren't very good. Then Simon said that Jeff is the reason that he would never have a show with an upper age limit, but let's not mention how he dropped what used to be the over 30s down to the over 25s so he could fill it up with mostly young people. And of course, Kelly said that there was a seat with Jeff's name all over it, and she didn't take it away at all. Next up was Rachel Potter. She says that at 29, she knows a lot more than she did when she was younger. There she goes again, acting like she's over the hill because she's 29 years old. I was waiting for her to start telling stories about walking 10 miles to school in the snow with no shoes. You know how like the old people tell those stories? You can't be a wise old lady until you're actually old, Rachel. You haven't even gone through menopause yet. Anyway, this time around, Rachel sang Irreplacable by Beyonce, and she damn sure needs to be replaceable. I guess her permanent formula is going to be to call herself a country singer and then sing non-country songs so people can praise her for turning them into country songs, even though they don't really sound country. And this performance, it didn't sound country at all to me. It sounded like pain. The first half of the song wasn't too awful bad, but then when she started shrieking, The whole thing just fell apart. It sounded like she was giving birth. For a moment there, I thought that maybe she had stopped singing and Victoria Carriger was over there on this chair having another baby. So yeah, she definitely should have got the axe for this performance. When it was over, though, Demi asked her how she felt about the performance, and she was like, "Oh, I've been sick." The crowd booed the daylights out of her. And all the other contestants were smirking. It was hilarious. And the judges all agreed that she could do much better. And her audition was a whole lot better, but if they're going to base their decisions on other performances, then what the heck is the point of this round anyway? Kelly did give her a seat, though, even though she didn't deserve one. And she never took it away from her, but the crowd wanted her to. Next was 34-year-old retired football player Lorie Moore. See, I had no idea that women played professional football. I don't really care about sports, though, so it makes no difference to me one way or the other, but Lorie says that since giving up on football, she's put all her eggs in the musical basket, but she couldn't have plucked a better egg out for her performance. "I'll Make Love to You" by Boyz II Men, just a corny old song that nobody cares to hear again. She sang it pretty well, but I didn't really believe it because, well, there's this female football player that's talking about putting up a fight in her intro, and I didn't believe that she wanted to make sweet love to me. No, it was okay. The song was just too corny. Better than Rachel Potter, though. Demi didn't think she was looking at a superstar. Paulina doesn't know where in the music industry will fit Lorie. Simon didn't like the version of this song, and Kelly said that she didn't know if Lorie was ready for the competition, and then Lorie went on this hard work rant. I didn't know if she was trying to be a singer or a televangelist. It must have worked, though, at least for a little while, because Kelly snatched a seat right out from under Kristene Mirelle and gave it to Lorie, and then, of course, she took it away from her later on. Next up was 26-year-old Allison Davis. Now, I am quite sure that we never got to see her audition because from the clip that they showed of it, she only got 3 yeses, and I think it was the only time that the judges were not in total agreement about somebody all season. But this begs the question, since they canceled boot camp and the top 40 was decided based solely on auditions, how the hell does somebody that only got 3 yeses make it through to the top 40 while a whole bunch of people that got 4 yeses were sent packing? Simon Cowell must really think we're stupid. Anyway, for this performance, Allison sang "TiK ToK" by Kesha, if you can call that singing. It was so bad that it even made Kesha look talented in comparison. The only people that enjoyed this performance was the other contestants because they knew they were not going to be losing a seat to her. Demi said that she couldn't take it seriously. Simon said that it was lazy, predictable, and annoying, and then Allison tried to convince Kelly to keep her by telling her that she once saw her at a Destiny's Child concert. It didn't work. Kelly sent her right home. She didn't even get to play seat warmer for a little while like the others did. Next up was dog walker Jeff Brinkman. Now, I hate to break this to you, Jeff Brinkman, but you were done before you ever started singing. There is room in Kelly's Final Four for only one growly dude named Jeff, and we knew he was already sitting in his seat. They weren't going to send Jeff Goot packing. Anyway, for this performance, Jeff Brinkman sang "Without You," and it was a total snooze fest. It was like he talked the first half of the song. He might have talked the second half, too. I wasn't really paying that much attention since we already knew what his fate was going to be. No, I spent the better part of this performance trying to figure out which one of the Flintstones is his hairdresser, because what was that silly hair? Is he dating that woman with all them kids or something? I don't know. Anyway, the judges all pretty much agreed that it was a terrible song choice, but they love his voice. And then while Kelly was trying to decide what to do, Mario Lopez was like, "Kelly, we need an answer. Simmer down, Super Mario. The show ain't live yet." Kelly ended up giving Octomom's seat to Jeff Brinkman, but just to warm it up until somebody else better came along. Next up is 70-year-old Denny Smith. Now, I know a lot of people were rooting for Denny because he looks like Santa Claus, but I've always kind of thought Santa Clauses were a little bit creepy. I mean, parents, they spend all year teaching their kids not to talk to strangers, and then once a year they'll throw caution to the wind and have their kids sit in some old man's lap so they could take their picture. I never quite got that, but anyway, Denny sang "In the Midnight Hour," and it was just about as bad as I was expecting it to be, but this guy was never going to be taken seriously anyway, so it was no surprise when Kelly didn't give him a seat. The audience seemed to be very upset with her, but what else was she going to do? She's never going to put Santa Claus through the live shows. You know what they should do, though? Since the finale is like right before Christmas, they should have Denny come back on the finale in a Santa suit to give presents to everybody. Wouldn't that be fun? He could give Lillie McCloud a new pick for her afro. He could give Jeff Goot a cheeseburger. He could get Victoria Carringer's tubes tied. That was awful of me. I am going to hell. But y'all are going with me, so maybe it won't be too bad. Next up is 36-year-old apartment manager James Kenney, who I'm sure we all remember from season 1. How much product does this dude put in his hair? I mean, seriously, I have seen Ken dolls with hair more flexible than James Kenney's hair. Anyway, this time around, James sang Lean On Me. I thought it was a terrible song choice because it's been covered so many times over the years. No matter how well you do it, good odds are we've all heard it done better several times. He sounded fine though. I did like him better than the other two guys, but I didn't love it as much as the judges did. And you could tell that the two Jeffs weren't crazy about it either because they knew that one of them was going to be losing their seat. Then Kelly acted like she was hesitating, and James said that he didn't want to be cliche and say the same things that everybody else says, and then he proceeded to be cliche and said the same things that everybody else said, and it clearly worked because she gave him Jeff Brinkman's chair. And the last of the over 25s is 54-year-old Lillie McCloud, and they spoiled it before she ever came out to sing. When they were going off to a commercial break before her performance, they showed one of those still-to-come snippets, and you could clearly see Lillie in one of the 4 chairs for the over 25s. I mean, she's kind of hard to miss with that great big old giant hair. So I'm guessing somebody in the editing department probably lost their job last night, but yeah, was there ever any doubt, though, that Lillie McCloud was going to get the pimp spot in her category? Anyway, she sang A House Is Not a Home, and it was 200% flawless. I suspect that this is probably what I'm going to be saying about Lillie all season, but I'm still not convinced that she can win because there is a lot of people that will never vote for her since she's had some past success. I'm still kind of on the fence about that because a part of me says, well, I never heard of her, so I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. But at the same time, a seasoned professional with a string of Billboard hits going up against shower singing amateurs, it just doesn't feel totally fair, but the judges love Lillie, and Kelly snatched Lorie's chair away to give to her. The crowd wanted her to send Rachel packing, and she should have sent Rachel packing, but what can you do? I think everything was already decided before these people ever even showed up to sing. So that was it for the over 25s. Jeff Gutt, James Kenney, Rachel Potter, and Lillie McCloud are on to the live shows, and then they showed some of the clips from some of the performances from the girls. But we'll talk about those when we've seen them all after tonight. I didn't want to do a category and a half tonight and then a half a category tomorrow. That wouldn't have made much sense, but y'all know I skipped last week. Them auditions last week was so bad, I just couldn't. I was trying to start taking notes, and it just made my head hurt, so I had to stop. I couldn't suffer through it, and I couldn't suffer through talking about it, and I didn't want to put y'all through that, so anyway, that's it for this week. Leave me a comment and let me know who you thought should have been in the top 16, moving on to the live shows. If you think Rachel Potter should have gone home, and just what you thought about the show in general, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would point you in the direction where the subscribe button is at, but YouTube moves it around all the time, so you'll just have to find it yourself. Come be my Facebook friend if you aren't already my Facebook friend, and I'll see y'all next time.